Hello and welcome back to another Yandere video dev blog, whatever. So basically, what I'm doing now is I have finished the first murder scene. I'm not going to show you that because that would be pointless because I watched that and then not watch what I want you to watch, which is the whole thing. So basically we're in Sketchup. Here is a Japanese school that someone has lovingly created via Google Sketchup out of Google Earth map. So we have this there. It's pretty low poly, which is fine because all I'm going to do is use this for I need a background kind of scene, and since I'm focusing on the animation, I'm not going to really worry about delete some of this stuff. Worrying about, drawing this or something like that from scratch when there's no need to. Okay, so basically we're just gonna export this and probably use it a lot in the future animations just because it's pretty good. It's not super high def, high poly, which means it'll be easy to load in with a whole bunch of other stuff. Just have to kind of straighten it out on this thing here. Now I'll export and put it into MMD. This will probably take a little bit. So while that does what it's doing, let's get into MMD. Here's the setup for our next scene, murder scene. Since I'm doing the more difficult scenes like these murder scenes because they're just a lot more difficult to do. You may find this gym familiar because this is the gym, well, the base of the gym that is used actually in the Yandere simulator game. I didn't rip it from the game. It's actually, it's from another game that was ripped a long time ago. I think it's, I don't really remember what it is, but it's been out there. You can find it on DeviantArt just by typing in MMD gym, and one of these will come up, or maybe this is on Bull Roll. I don't really remember. Somebody ripped it up there. I'll find who. But as for other things, these props here are just props that were from 3D Warehouse that I'm putting in here. And no, nothing crazy is going to happen with this, although that does look like it could be potentially painful. Leave that to the imagination. So let's bring our camera to our character. And now basically what I'm going to do is, now I've set up the character, I'm going to just animate them opening the door. And yes, the door is already open, just so I know where the extremes of the poses are. Lately I've been looking around on some tutorials and things of other people that are trying to do the same thing, of how to make 3D animation kind of look more like 2D animation. So big secret is messing with the frame rate. Since this is MMD, you can export it pretty much at any frame rate you want. But to get the 2D kind of look and feel, you want to actually use a lower frame rate, somewhere around maybe 15, 12, or even lower. That'll give you the choppiness that 2D traditionally has, and you can go back in your video editor and actually change the playback speed in case it's too slow. Like say you want to do 12 FPS and it's a little bit too slow for you, you can just speed it up in playback, which I'll probably show you how to do later. So for this one, I'm not even going to use mocap. I'm just going to animate it like I would normally. The other thing that they mentioned a lot in some other people's blogs and 3D animating, trying to get it to look like 2D, is to actually not do moving holds, which is something that you just don't do in 2D. There's no such thing as a moving hold, which basically all that means is, if I can make a... Alright, here's going to be our first frame. Yeah, I know the door's kind of... stop. I have to change the camera angle to put it back where I want it to be. So somewhere just around here. This is not going to be the final camera angle, but this is just to kind of set it up so that when I hit track, I have an idea where the character is. So let's go to this door and move this a little bit over. I think we started out on frame 10. Ugh. Go back to our other character. Let's see how far we are. Okay. So I have to move this character back a little bit. Basically what a moving hold is, in 2D animation you can have a character kind of just stop. And what I mean by that, if you watch anime, sometimes they'll have a character talking and the other character is listening to them, will not be moving at all for like, you know, a couple seconds while they're talking and stuff like that. They'll just be standing there or whatever. And now in 3D you can't really do that, because if you do that in 3D, it just looks really weird. It just looks like the character is dead. Because there's no movement associated with it. So what they call a moving hold is you just, even if you're going to have the character stand there and listen and not really move, you just tweak the bones slightly and move them so that there's still movement going on while they're standing still, basically. And what that does is that ends up, and let's see, move this there. That ends up just making it look a lot more kind of realistic and normal. Okay, so probably gonna start from like, okay, this is actually the opposite way, because I want to go back. I want this to be the end. I'm actually animating the reverse. So this pose here would actually be at the beginning. So, okay. And let's do our door too, just while we are at it. So it's gonna be there. I want to register. Apparently not. I don't know why that's not doing that. It's really weird. Alright, so that there. Oh, I know why. Duh, because I have to go once again. This is what happens. Alright, let's create a new thing. Basically, the reason why that's not showing up in here is because I forgot to put in the display panel. Now I have to find out where this thing is. Because I edited the... let's just find out where gym is. Because I have a couple different gyms. I have this one, and I have another one that's really nice, but that one's a little bit too big. It's like an Olympic-sized gym. To load, please. Alright. Gym door open. I'm guessing that's it. Alright, so hopefully, yeah. Is this it? Yeah. Alright, so basically what happened, the reason why that bone is not showing up, and also, sometimes if you download a model from, say, DeviantArt, or make a model or whatever you're gonna do, and you have a bone that is not showing up, you have to go to the display panel, and let's first find this bone name. We're on bone. So here, we're just gonna call this door. Can't type. Alright, so we call that door, then we go over here to display panel. And yeah, that's a Japanese name if I wanted to. I could change this bone name here and to door. And I just added, well actually first I have to create a new category. This is going to just be door for this model. And now I should be able to add it, and there you have it. So now when I load it in here, it'll have door, and then I'll be able to see the node when I do it. So let's just save this. Door open, save, yes, yada yada yada. Save this. And basically all I'm going to do is open the same thing, and it should reload everything, hopefully, and it'll update the door panel node thing. Alright, there we go. Now, yeah, because of the fact that there it is, you can see door. So, alright. So, let's see what we have. This should be closed here. Let's reset that. Bam. And now we have to go to our character. And let's see. Why did this, oh, don't tell me I didn't. I guess whatever. It didn't, for whatever reason, put that there. Register, I forgot to register that. Alright, so, copy that. Paste this sucker. See, for whatever reason, you know what? I bet you what it is, let me see if this is probably doing the same thing. Yep. For whatever reason, this character, why they don't have the groove bone there, part of this. It's just annoying to go back into this and constantly edit stuff, because it's just the kind of stuff that you will not notice until you go to move stuff that, oh, that bone doesn't have a name. And you can't see the nodes of where you're doing what and registering what, so now we have to go in here and open it, and it's just, well, like I said, in case you're doing something and you had these problems, this is basically how you fix them. Alright, so that's center. That's center. Why is that not in there? That doesn't make any sense. Center should always, yeah. Center should always be in here, kind of by default. So, whatever. What is 1? I don't even know. Let's see. Yeah, wow, this is a really weird setup. Because there's, like, pieces on top of pieces, and nothing was really named. So this wasn't named. And also, in case you have, like, weird bone names, like, there's this category 5, which I don't know what that is. And I'm guessing these are skirt things, and skirt skeleton bones. If you don't want this here, you can just delete it. But I'm just going to leave it alone right now. So once again, save over the old file, which will be fine. I just gave it a name. So here we should have, here's our center bone down here. So once again, save. Reopen it. Hammer Jim. And once this loads in, it should load in just like the door, with the node being able to be displayed in the panel. Alright, so let's do this. Since everything's out of order. Now you can see it. There is our node. Which is why that was acting weird like that. So now I just have to fix the timing of the door. Which I think was at like 10. Or maybe a little bit. Let's just say 5 and see where it is. Let's go here. Add some in-betweens. The other thing that they said for making 2D, or 3D rather, look like 2D is, you know, no moving holds, but also when you're animating, kind of, I don't know how to say this, if you haven't done 2D, you kind of want to animate like you're doing 2D, meaning that, of course I use mocap, which, that's fine, there's no real problem with that, but some things you can get away with in 2D, like basically this motion, yeah, I mean, it's not timed correctly, but it's not exactly realistic. I mean, all the body parts aren't moving as they would normally. But you can kind of get away with that stuff because the frame rate is going to be so low. So, I should have just made that display panel thing its own thing. Alright, so we're just basically going to slide this over here. We're just basically kind of making it into a decently timed thing, so. Alright, so now we just have to fix the door and make it follow that, which, let's see. So by there it's already open. It's easier, a lot easier to mess with the door than the character, so. Somewhere around here should be good. And I'll just have to fine-tune the character into place. Alright. And turn off the track. In case you get lost like that, or you don't know where your character is. Okay. 30. Let's delete this other node because we don't need that. Just hit front. Usually will bring you back into the front of the character. As long as you have the model checked. So yeah, this is definitely not going to be done by the end of the month like I was hoping. Although I did start this like in the middle of the month, yeah, so. But once I finish this scene, the other scenes are a lot of exposition. So, it should be done fairly quickly after that. Alright, so let's just do a register here. Want to time the door, the character. Yeah, you can see it's clipping through, but I'll just fix that in a second. Alright, so there we go. More or less. I just have to find out where it's clipping through and move this character back. I still have to put in the floor out here. And basically I'm just moving that center bone back. Let's see what this looks like at 20. So this character is, I don't know, I call her Bun Girl. I don't really have a name. Like, her name is Emmy, but I didn't, she's not really, well, I guess a main character. Main character is in throwaway character, I guess you can say. So, yeah. let's mess with the hand just to throw. Showy left? I believe that is. Nope. Showy right. Yep. So let's just mess with this shoulder. There we go. And now I'm just basically going back and doing the in-betweens, trying to line up the movement of the door with the body so that the hand is always kind of pushing the door. And I'll get into probably, doing some better hand positions, at least with the fingers and stuff like that. So, I might even not need to, because I might just move the camera so that it is not showing a head, probably, which is a good way to be lazy. It only matters what comes out on film. So, alright, good enough. Alright, so, let's see, let's make a camera angle. Not that close. So you want to put this perspective there. Somewhere around here. Let's see. Now I want the door to be in. How am I still getting that? Because your head is in the way. For some reason, lean back. Still, lean back. Constantly clipping into the door. Now clipping our hands into the door. But yeah. Tons and tons of little adjustments. The most tedious of all jobs. So anyways, while I'm doing this, you can check out, this was a scene that I already did in 3D that I decided, just out of curiosity, to animate it in 2D. And it came out looking pretty well. This is, there was a Disney movie called Paperman where they tried to, and they did, make 3D look like 2D. And you can do it, but basically all they're doing is rotoscoping over the original 3D. They probably have an expensive program that does that, but, yeah, so, anyways, there's that. And then, like I said, it looks pretty good. It's just really, really time consuming. So now we're just gonna zoom in here. I have to change the color, but I did find something that is kind of neat. I've been reading a couple different MMD blogs from some Japanese peoples, and they have some interesting effects. So if we go into our effects for this character, I'm just going to load in our toon shader. If I can find out where I put it in effects. No, not data. So I have a couple different toon shaders. G-toon shader. I use T-toon shader because I think that is the most like just regular anime cell shading. And they have darknesses too. S1 is the lightest, S5 is the darkest. These hair on and hair on 1 and 2, those are like the glare and sometimes you see on the character's hair. But usually I'll use, let's say, S4. And S4 I'll probably use, let's try S4 skin on. And as you can see, if I just put it on right there, even though I haven't set the lights properly, it just gives that nice cel-shaded look. So I'll apply that. And the other thing that I found out that is interesting is there's another effect, if I can find it, HG SSAO. Now this, or SAO, there's an SSAO, I like the SAO first. This is the ambient occlusion, fake ambient occlusion. If I turn this on, take a second to load. Basically, I think it gives the character a lot more depth. You can really see it in the face. Like, let me turn this off. It also gives it that nice shadow undertone. So if I turn this off, yeah, you don't see it, bam. And if I turn it up, it's like 1.5, you can really see it. Which I just found that out today, and was like, this is my new favorite effect. I'm gonna use it so much. It softens all the edges a lot. So I can't wait to do that. And as you can see, I have to go back into this character because for some reason the skin is not correct. I don't know why, but whatever. It's just another thing that has to be fixed. But yeah, even the hair, it really smooths out kind of the texture and stuff and gives it a lot of depth too. And of course, if I were to mess with the lighting, it gives a lot more just pop, I think. And the other thing too is there's a couple things I'm still experimenting with as far as these shadows, because as you can see here, no matter what, just using MMD, you're going to get pixelated shadows. Although if you kind of do, they have the detail in the far, so if you move it up to far, you're not going to have like shadows like under the bangs and stuff like that. You'll get that if you turn on detail, but as you can see, you get really, really messy pixelated shadows. There is another effect, if I can find it, called Excellent Shadow, I believe. Do I have it? Excellent Shadow 2. Let me save before I do this, because this might crash my computer. I'm recording and throwing this effect on top of it. Where is Excellent Shadow? Of course, there's this kind of, if it loads, smooths it out a bit. Although, yeah, see, it doesn't smooth it out everywhere, but yeah, this eye, around the eye, since this model is not the most perfect thing in the world, it is smooth, it's just not great. If you mess with the modes and stuff like that, you can get things a little bit softer, but still none of them are really that great. I guess mode 1 looks a little bit better. As you can see, that's the difference between it off. With it off like this, you can see it's very jagged. And turn that on, it smooths it out a lot. Some of these have different, this SI is size and the TR is transparency. Some of them are scalable, not all of them are. So, considering that there's like no real, repository of information for this that's in English, sometimes you just have to translate some of the Japanese blogs and see what they're talking about, or just experiment with it by yourself. I don't know that I'll use it. Last effect that I found that I really liked, which I use in the other scenes, if I can find it, is just a full screen ambient occlusion, which is good for things like this. It just gives texture to everything. probably move it more into the gym so you can see. Alright, let's just say here. So this is with the ambient occlusion on. I turn it off. It's just a subtle amount of darkness and definition around these objects. It also helps to smooth out things a lot and just like make it more realistic. Like, you're gonna have a shadow underneath this whatever balcony part right here. So yeah, without it, it looks kind of really weird. But you know, I can go crazy with effects. Throw in, which I don't really use the diffusion anymore because I have After Effects. But say if you don't have After Effects and you want to like blend everything together, you can use diffusion, which is a very light filter effect, which just blends everything together. As you can see, this is with it off, and I turn it on, and then everything just blends together, and it really looks nice. There's no real edges, at least not from the ambient occlusion. And let's see, up on the character too. Yeah, even on the character, it kind of blends everything. The lines are not very jagged, and whatnot. So yeah, that about does it for this tutorial, episode, blog, whatever it is. Yeah, so thanks for watching, and I shall see you next time. She is not going to like what happens when she gets in here.